Welcome to my video about the components of car transmissions. Understanding how a car transmission works is essential for anyone who wants to be a knowledgeable driver or a car mechanic. The transmission is responsible for transferring power from the engine to the wheels, and it's a complex system that includes many different components. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the different parts of a car transmission and how they work together to help your car move. So, whether you're a car enthusiast or simply curious about how your vehicle works, let's dive in and explore the fascinating world of car transmissions. When it comes to car transmissions, there are two main types, manual and automatic. In a manual transmission, the driver is responsible for shifting gears by using a clutch pedal and a gear shift. The clutch pedal disengages the engine from the transmission, allowing the driver to shift gears, while the gear shift selects the desired gear ratio. Manual transmissions offer better control over the vehicle and are generally more fuel efficient, but they require more skill and attention from the driver. On the other hand, automatic transmissions use a complex system of gears, clutches, and hydraulic fluid to automatically shift gears based on the car's speed and driving conditions. This type of transmission is easier to use and requires less attention from the driver, making it more popular in many parts of the world. However, automatic transmissions are generally less fuel efficient than manual transmissions and can be more expensive to repair. There are also other types of transmissions, such as continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, and dual clutch transmissions, DCTs, which offer different advantages and disadvantages. However, for the purposes of this video, we'll focus on manual and automatic transmissions, since they're the most common types of transmissions you'll find in cars today. In a manual transmission, the clutch is a crucial component that allows the driver to engage or disengage the engine from the transmission. The clutch consists of two main parts, the clutch plate and the pressure plate. The clutch plate is connected to the transmission input shaft, while the pressure plate is connected to the engine flywheel. When the driver depresses the clutch pedal, the pressure plate releases the clutch plate, which disengages the engine from the transmission. This allows the driver to shift gears without grinding the gears or stalling the engine. When the driver releases the clutch pedal, the pressure plate re-engages the clutch plate, and the engine is once again connected to the transmission. A properly functioning clutch is essential for smooth shifting and efficient power transfer in a manual transmission. However, the clutch can wear out over time, especially if the driver is rough with the clutch or doesn't shift gears properly. In that case, the clutch may need to be replaced or repaired to ensure that the transmission continues to work properly. The gearbox is one of the most important components in a car transmission. It's responsible for transmitting power from the engine to the wheels and consists of a series of gears with different ratios. The gearbox is also known as the transmission or the gear train. In a manual transmission, the driver selects the appropriate gear by moving the gear shift. The gearbox consists of different gears with different numbers of teeth, which determines the gear ratio. The gear ratio determines how much torque and speed are transmitted from the engine to the wheels. For example, first gear has a low gear ratio and provides a lot of torque for moving the car from a stop, while fifth gear has a high gear ratio and provides less torque but higher speed for highway driving. In an automatic transmission, the gearbox selects the appropriate gear automatically based on the car's speed and driving conditions. The gearbox uses a complex system of planetary gears, clutches, and hydraulic fluid to change gears seamlessly without any input from the driver. A properly functioning gearbox is essential for smooth shifting, efficient power transfer, and overall performance of the car. However, the gearbox can wear out over time or become damaged due to poor driving habits or lack of maintenance. In that case, the gearbox may need to be repaired or replaced to ensure the transmission continues to work properly. Transmission fluid is a special type of lubricant that's essential for the proper functioning of a car transmission. It serves several important functions, including lubricating the moving parts of the transmission, cooling the transmission, and transferring power from the engine to the wheels. In a manual transmission, the transmission fluid is usually checked by removing a plug located on the side of the transmission. If the fluid level is low, the transmission may not function properly and may make unusual noises or have difficulty shifting. In that case, the transmission fluid should be topped off or replaced. In an automatic transmission, the transmission fluid is usually checked with a dipstick, similar to the way engine oil is checked. The fluid level should be checked regularly, and the fluid should be changed at regular intervals, as specified by the manufacturer. Dirty or degraded transmission fluid can cause a variety of problems, including slipping, rough shifting, and reduced performance. It's important to use the correct type of transmission fluid for your car, as specified by the manufacturer. Using the wrong type of fluid can cause damage to the transmission and lead to costly repairs. Regular maintenance, including checking and changing the transmission fluid, can help ensure that your car's transmission operates smoothly and efficiently. In an automatic transmission, the torque converter is a key component that helps transmit power from the engine to the wheels. The torque converter is a fluid coupling that uses hydraulic fluid to transfer torque from the engine to the transmission. The torque converter consists of three main parts: the impeller, the turbine, and the stator. The impeller is attached to the engine and spins with it, while the turbine is attached to the transmission and drives the wheels. The stator is located between the impeller and turbine and helps redirect the fluid flow to improve efficiency. When the engine is running, the impeller spins and creates a flow of hydraulic fluid in the torque converter. This flow of fluid rotates the turbine, which drives the transmission and wheels. The stator helps redirect the fluid flow so that more energy is transferred from the engine to the transmission, improving efficiency. The torque converter also has a built-in clutch, known as the lockup clutch, which can engage and disengage to improve efficiency at higher speeds. When the lockup clutch engages, it creates a direct mechanical connection between the impeller and the turbine, eliminating the energy losses associated with fluid coupling. A properly functioning torque converter is essential for smooth shifting, efficient power transfer, and overall performance of an automatic transmission. However, if the torque converter is damaged or worn out, it may cause a variety of problems, including slipping, rough shifting, and reduced performance. In that case, the torque converter may need to be repaired or replaced to ensure the transmission continues to work properly. The valve body is a crucial component in an automatic transmission that controls the flow of hydraulic fluid to different parts of the transmission. It's essentially a hydraulic control center that directs fluid to the clutch packs and other components to control the shifting and overall performance of the transmission. The valve body consists of several passages, chambers, and valves that work together to regulate the flow of hydraulic fluid. The valve body is controlled by a complex system of solenoids, sensors, and computer chips that determine the appropriate gear based on the car's speed, engine load, and other driving conditions. When the driver selects a gear or the transmission needs to shift, the valve body receives a signal from the car's computer and redirects hydraulic fluid to the appropriate clutch pack to engage or disengage the gears. The valve body also controls the pressure and timing of the fluid to ensure smooth shifting and efficient power transfer. A malfunctioning valve body can cause a variety of problems, including slipping, rough shifting, and reduced performance. In that case, the valve body may need to be repaired or replaced to ensure the transmission continues to work properly. Regular maintenance, including checking and changing the transmission fluid, can help ensure that the valve body operates smoothly and efficiently. However, if the valve body needs to be replaced, it's a complex and labor-intensive process that should be performed by a qualified mechanic. Solenoids are an essential component of an automatic transmission's valve body. A solenoid is an electrical component that uses a magnetic field to move a plunger or valve to control the flow of hydraulic fluid. In an automatic transmission, the solenoids are used to control the shifting of gears. The solenoids are controlled by the car's computer, which receives input from various sensors to determine the appropriate gear for the driving conditions. When the computer sends a signal to the solenoids, they open or close to direct hydraulic fluid to the appropriate clutch pack, allowing the transmission to shift into the desired gear. Modern automatic transmissions can have dozens of solenoids, each with a specific function. Some solenoids control the pressure of the hydraulic fluid, while others control the timing of the shifts. Solenoids can also be used to control the torque converter, lockup clutch, and other components of the transmission. A malfunctioning solenoid can cause a variety of problems, including slipping, rough shifting, and reduced performance. In that case, the solenoid may need to be replaced to ensure the transmission continues to work properly. Regular maintenance, including checking and changing the transmission fluid, can help ensure that the solenoids operate smoothly and efficiently. However, if a solenoid needs to be replaced, it's a complex and labor-intensive process that should be performed by a qualified mechanic. Building a car transmission is a complex process that requires a high degree of precision and expertise. The process typically starts with the manufacture of the individual components, including gears, shafts, and clutch packs. These components are then inspected for quality and assembled into sub-assemblies that will later be combined to make the final transmission. The transmission is typically built on an assembly line, with each worker responsible for a specific part of the process. The transmission housing is often the starting point, with workers adding the necessary gears, shafts, and clutch packs to create the individual sub-assemblies. These sub-assemblies are then installed into the housing and connected using various bolts, screws, and seals. The valve body, torque converter, and solenoids are also installed into the transmission housing, along with the necessary wiring and computer components. Once all the components are in place, the transmission is filled with the appropriate amount of transmission fluid, and a final quality check is performed to ensure everything is working properly. It's worth noting that building a transmission is a highly specialized skill that requires years of training and experience. While it's possible for DIY enthusiasts to rebuild or repair a transmission, it's a complex process that can be time-consuming and challenging, and it's often best to leave the work to a qualified mechanic who has the expertise and equipment necessary to do the job properly. So, that's a basic overview of the components of car transmissions. Whether you drive a manual or automatic transmission, it's important to understand how these components work and how they affect the performance of your car. Remember, proper maintenance is key to ensuring your transmission functions properly and lasts as long as possible. This includes checking and changing the transmission fluid, replacing worn components, and addressing any issues as soon as they arise. If you're ever in doubt or experiencing problems with your transmission, it's always best to consult a qualified mechanic who can diagnose and repair any issues. Taking care of your transmission can help keep you on the road and keep your car running smoothly for years to come. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more car-related content. And as always, drive safe and have a great day. Until next time, happy motoring!